Jesus has the power to give eternal life. Prove me wrong. If Jesus isn't God, then how can he give eternal life? In John 10:28, Jesus says, I give them eternal life, and they shall never perish. But the Bible teaches that only God has the power to give life. Skeptics, can you explain this? The crowds had gathered once again. Some were eager to hear Jesus speak. Some were curious. And some were looking for a reason to accuse him. As Jesus walked through Solomon's porch at the temple, a group of religious leaders surrounded him. They had one question. How long will you keep us in suspense? If you are the Christ, tell us plainly. Jesus looked at them and answered, I have told you, and you do not believe. The works that I do in my Father's name bear witness of me. Then he spoke words that would change everything. I give them eternal life, and they shall never perish. John chapter 10:28. Who can give eternal life? The crowd stood in shock. Because they knew the scriptures. They knew that only God has the power to give life. The Lord kills and makes alive. He brings down to the grave and raises up. 1 Samuel 2:6. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God beside me. I kill and I make alive. Deuteronomy 32:39. With you is the fountain of life. Psalm 36:9. Throughout the Bible, no prophet, no angel, no human ever claimed the power to give eternal life. Yet Jesus did, the Good Shepherd's promise. Jesus continued, My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give them eternal life, and they shall never perish. Neither shall anyone snatch them out of my hand. The people listening knew what he was saying. He wasn't just claiming to be a teacher. He wasn't just saying he was a messenger from God. He was claiming divine authority, the power to give eternal life. And then he said something that made the religious leaders furious. My Father, who has given them to me, is greater than all, and no one is able to snatch them out of my Father's hand. I and the Father are one, the religious leaders' reaction. As soon as Jesus spoke these words, the response was immediate. The religious leaders picked up stones to kill him. For which of my good works do you stone me? Jesus asked. They shouted back, We do not stone you for a good work, but for blasphemy, because you, being a man, make yourself God. They understood exactly what Jesus was claiming, and they refused to believe it. Jesus proved his power. Jesus didn't just speak about eternal life, he proved his power over life and death. When Lazarus had been dead for 4 days, Jesus stood at the tomb and called out, Lazarus, come forth. And the dead man walked out alive. When the thief on the cross cried out, Lord, remember me, Jesus responded, Today you will be with me in paradise. And in the greatest display of power, Jesus himself conquered death. The tomb was sealed. The guards were stationed. But on the 3rd day, he rose again. What mere man can claim authority over death? Who but God alone can give eternal life? The challenge to skeptics. Here's the challenge. If Jesus isn't God, explain this. The Old Testament says, I am the Lord, and there is no other. Apart from me, there is no God. Isaiah 45:5. Yet Jesus says, I give them eternal life, and they shall never perish. John chapter 10:28. If only God can give life, why does Jesus have this authority? If Jesus isn't God, why did the religious leaders want to stone him for blasphemy? No prophet ever made this claim. No angel ever spoke these words. No religious leader ever dared to say this. So if Jesus isn't God, prove me wrong, the unshakable truth. Jesus wasn't just a teacher. He is the Good Shepherd. He is the giver of eternal life. He is the Lord over life and death, and his promise still stands today. Whoever believes in me has eternal life. John 6:47. Closing and call to action. The question is, do you believe it? If you believe Jesus is God, type "Jesus is Lord" in the comments. If you don't, explain this passage. For more powerful Bible truths, like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Jesus holds the keys to life and death. What will you do with that truth?